Hey, welcome back to another video from me, Lee at Harefit, and today I'm going to give you my top 5 tips for tracking your food and being successful with your weight loss diet. So before we get started, be sure to give this video a big thumbs up if you're ready to see, and it really helps me out that it kind of shows the video to more people, and subscribe if you like this because there's 2 videos going up every single week. So let's go. Tip 1 is to download the app Myfitnesspal. So you can get it on most iOS, Android, all that kind of app stores. And this app is key for being able to not only track your calories, but to be able to do it in an easy way that's not kind of going to be really time intensive on your part. Because back in the day, for anyone who's a little bit older, they will probably remember tracking calories as carrying around like quite a thick book that contained all your foods, like, well, not all the foods, obviously that book would be massive, wouldn't it? But it was like quite a wedge of a book, but it contained like general foods that you would normally find in a diet. And in that would be all the calories per maybe 100 grams, the macros for each of them, and all sorts of information like that. And what you'd have to do is, you'd have to weigh your food, and then you'd have to go in this book, look up the food that you was eating, see how much, how many calories it's worth per 100 grams. Then you'd have to record it all into another notebook or even like a spreadsheet on your computer, something like that. Myfitnesspal takes all that away. All you have to do is scan a barcode on the piece of food that you want to eat. So if you've got some chicken, you just scan the barcode of the chicken, and I found that unless you're going out to independent stores, most things are always going to be in Myfitnesspal. So you just scan the barcode, or if they're not in there, then you can just do a search on Myfitnesspal and find something that's going to be very similar. Or if it's a generic food like a vegetable, then you can just search for that vegetable and you'll find something on there that is that vegetable, and you can just put in your weight. So talking about weight, let's move on to tip 2. You're back. Right, so tip 2 is weighing your foods. Now, in my cupboard down here, you'll find your bog standard just digital scale. Now you need one of these to be able to track consistently, because you need to know what you're weighing. Now, being able to scan a barcode and putting in like one of this or 2 of this will only work for so long, and ideally you'll know by now that I always want you to be concentrating a lot of your diet on the 1 ingredient food. So I give this example in the last video, which was just like chicken is a 1 ingredient food, it's just chicken. So chicken breast, chicken thighs, things like that. Vegetables, again, are just 1 ingredient foods. Things that you're going to get in boxes and bags and packs and things like that, they're going to tend to be like 20 ingredient foods. And although some of them aren't necessarily bad for you, and I don't like to label things as bad, it's going to be easier and healthier to kind of get more of them 1 ingredient foods in there, and then have little treats and things like that that aren't necessarily falling into that bracket as and when. But to track them 1 ingredient foods, you're going to need to weigh them out. So getting a digital scale is vital for that. So I ain't going to patronise you by telling you how to weigh things out on a scale, but there is one tip that I want to show you. So this is my protein peanut butter. Beautiful stuff, very beautiful, massive tub, because I love peanut butter. So say if you were to measure this, one thing that somebody might do is they might put like some sort of pot or something on the scale, and then they'll spoon things out of here into that pot and measure it out that way. Now that's possible, you can do that, but there's a couple of different things wrong with it. 1, you've got a new bowl to wash up, and 2, what about the extra peanut butter that ends up on the spoon? Now most people would kind of spoon stuff out of here, weigh out however much they want on the scale, and then probably lick the spoon. Now that could be like 3 grams of peanut butter, and at nearly 600 calories per 100 gram, is probably like 6 calories per gram, if my quick maths is right. So that could be like an easy like 20 calories right there just by just eating off the spoon. So here I have stirred it around, and just to show you, I just stirred this to make it not oily, and that's already showing minus 5 grams, and that's just from this little bit of peanut butter that's on this spoon over here. So what I would do is 0 this, so you can see it's got on 0 off. So you 0 it, and that sets the grams 0, and then what you do is take out your spoon of peanut butter and weigh it like that. So that is 11 grams, including everything on the spoon. You can happily lick the spoon knowing that you've accounted for everything that's on there. And you just want to make sure that you're kind of accurately tracking everything and weighing it out properly. So with chicken, I'll do the same. I'll put the pack of chicken on the scale and zero it, and then I'll pull the chicken out and put it straight into the pan. It saves on washing up for one, which is a bonus, and for two, you're knowing exactly what you're eating as well. Oh man, what, you can't blame me, you can't let peanut butter go to waste. That is tip 2. Let's move on to tip 3. Tip 3 is actually inputting the right calories and macros so that you're hitting the right goals. Because when you first download Myfitnesspal, it'll ask you a series of questions like, what's your current weight? What's your ideal weight? What's kind of a time scale to do that in? And then Myfitnesspal is kind of very robotic, and it's just an algorithm that works out your calories. So it works on the premise that it's going to be 3,500 calories per pound of body fat that you need to lose. So all it will do is it'll take whatever amount of fat that you want to lose and divide them calories over them week. I'm just going to tell Loki to stop eating dog food while I'm recording this video. Sorry boy. I know, I'll give it back in a minute. It's alright. It's alright, you'll be alright. It's now like I said, I just need like 5 more minutes, okay? I just 5, and then I'll give you your food back. His food's on here now. I'll give him his food back. Say you're wanting to lose 10 pounds of fat in 10 weeks to make it nice and even numbers. It will simply work out what it thinks your TDE is, your total daily energy expenditure, and then it will minus 500 calories because it wants you to burn them 3,500 calories per week. So that's 500 calories per day. It'll lop off 500 calories from your TDEE that it's worked out for you, and that'll be your calories. So say if somebody goes on there and says they want to lose 10 pounds in 5 weeks, it will simply take off 1,000 calories per day. So some people could go on there and be recommended literally like 1,000 to 1,500 calories, which even for a female, that is like particularly low. There's one or two things that I recommend you do. Number one is you can just track the food that you're eating for 2 weeks. So just the normal food that you're eating for 2 weeks. And that's going to give you an idea of how many calories you're eating across each week. And then what you can do is take that number and take off, maybe start off with just something reasonable. Take off 300 calories per day. And then track your weight and see how this affects your weight. The second way is to work out your calories based on either formulas and things like that and just going straight in with a number, or just speak with a coach who will work all these things out for you based on knowledge, expertise, experience, probably be able to give you a number that's going to be relatively spot on for where you need to start out. And then as a coach as well, if you can work with me at Harefit Coaching, then I will also taper these calories, I'll move your macros around where needed, I'll bring you down as we move through the weeks of training so that you're always losing weight, because as you lower your calories, what's going to happen is your metabolism is going to catch up, your lower calories, your metabolism will catch up. And this will constantly happen with weight loss, it's just inevitable. So being able to be on top of this calorie change and this metabolism change means that you'll always be able to see results and keep losing weight. So if you would like to work with me, then be sure to see my email down in the caption below. It's lee@harefit.com. Just email me, let me know that you're interested, and I will book in a call with you to see if you are a good fit for the coaching. Tip 4 is to use Myfitnesspal even when you're eating out. So a lot of people will find it really easy to track when they're in the house. You've got barcodes to scan, you can weigh foods, it's very easy. And then when they go out, like this is kind of where things can often go to pot, because what do you put into the app, how many calories have you eaten, and often this means that things just won't get tracked. So instead, what you can do is just use the search function on Myfitnesspal. So sometimes the restaurants will be on Myfitnesspal, and it'll be really easy where you can just literally search the restaurant, search the dish and put it in there, and that is brilliant when that happens. But from my experience, that happens like 1 in 10 times. So instead what you can do is you're gonna have to kind of work with ordering easy to track food. So steaks are often easy to track. Certain like chicken dishes are easy to track. Things where you can see the protein, see the carbs, see the fats, that's gonna be easy to track. So what you wanna do is you just search for the food. So say we take a steak, you can search for the steak. Often the weights will be on the menu. So you search for steak, find the weight, put that in. Then you can search for the carbs, so say it's rice, you can have a look, and if you've been tracking for a little while now, you'll be able to eyeball certain weights. So you might look at it and be like, yeah, that's going to be about 150 grams of rice, put that into the app, and then you look at the veggies, and again, you can look at that and see what veggies they are, roughly a rough weight of what's going into them, and put all that in the app. And this means that you can still track what foods you're eating even when you're out. So there's a little bit of give and take in terms of what you're going to have to order when you go out, but remember, this is your kind of weight loss journey. You are here to lose weight, so sometimes there has to be little sacrifices. You can't just eat that plate full of wings or that massive lasagna that you may have wanted, but you have to eat kind of like cleaner foods just so that you know what you're going to be able to track, and then just a little bit of searching in the app, and boom, you should be able to know exactly how many calories. Well, not exactly, you'll be able to have a rough idea of what calories and macros and things you have eaten. So tip 5 is last but certainly not least, and probably one of the most important if you are setting out and tracking your food, and that is to track everything. So often when I first started, and I know when I start working with clients and start incorporating tracking into their diet, I'll find that you'll look back and the first 1-2 meals will be tracked in the day, which is fantastic, it's really good, but then the last meal will just disappear. It's just not there. So all of a sudden you're looking through like past calorie inputs, and you've got kind of, say there goes 2,000, you've got kind of 1,400 here, you've got 1,000 here, you've got 1,500 there, and it's like, well, how much have you eaten? We don't even know. And the whole beauty of tracking is that you want to be able to know how many calories you've eaten last week and how much weight you gained or how much weight you dropped, because only then are you going to be able to know if the calories that you've set are actually in a calorie deficit, because all the formulas and experience in the world can give you a calorie number, but every single one of us is individual. We all have different metabolisms, we all do different things throughout the day. We need to know how much you're eating and where the scales are going to be able to determine whether that is the right calorie goal for you, whether we need to adjust it down or adjust it a little bit up, because losing weight too fast again is an issue. So the big thing is just to make sure you're tracking everything. Don't go through the day and bother kind of tracking 1 or 2 meals and then be skipping the last meal because you think, I know that, I've been there, you skip the last meal because you think that it's probably going to take you over your calories. And if that's the case, then you either just need to still track it, because then you still know, like at the end of the week, if you've gained a pound, you know it was because of that day where you went 1,000 calories over your target, and that is better knowing that than get to the end of the week, you've gained a pound and you don't know why. If you want that bigger meal in the afternoon, then you have to learn to taper your calories down earlier on in the day. Eat less earlier on in the day so that you can make room for that bigger meal, or that bigger meal has to become smaller. This is weight loss, and I'm afraid at some point you have to get serious about what you're eating and how many calories are going into your body, because that is the big thing, a calorie deficit. If you're not achieving a calorie deficit and you're kind of a bit wayward with calories, not tracking them properly, then you are going to struggle. And the chances are, if you are watching this and you've been tracking for a while now and you've been struggling, this is your problem. It's because you are trying to track calories, you're trying to be in a calorie deficit, but without tracking everything, you just don't know if that's the right calorie goal for you. If you've enjoyed this video, then be sure to hit that big thumbs up button, because it really helps me out. And if you are interested in working with me as a coach, then my email address, lee@harefit.com, is down in the caption below. I would love to receive your email and jump on a call with you, see if you're a good fit. For now, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well, because there's weekly videos coming out with all good stuff, and I will speak to you very soon.